What's your biggest news? I know what it is.
You're listening to The Swindle, the champion podcast of the year.
Oh, we're
Two
starting?
guys, 28 clubs.
We're starting
zero
right now.
putts given, with your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
That is Gunnar Kane over there to my... Oh, I pointed the wrong way. I did. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Swingdom. My name is Ben. I have not played golf in a bit because of Corona lockdown. I got my Twitch going again. I know nobody really cares, but I've got to get that going. So I'd brag about my handicap, but there's no point in being like, I'm a 10 handicap. I'm almost a single-digit handicap. How wonderful is that?
What's your handicap on the game? On Twitch?
Bad.
Is it bad?
It's bad. I don't think I've kept score, but like we play like we play like between 67 and 7,200 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no, like, because we don't putt, because putting is so hard with the SkyTrack.
Right.
Like, it's like if you're inside of 10 feet, you one putt sometimes. If you're inside of 20 feet, you two putt sometimes.
So it's not good.
No, I have it in the 60s on the game.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say my handicap in real life has gone up. My handicap in the game has gone down. I'm probably at like a 10 to 12 handicap in the game.
Okay.
But you'll just have to come see. You'll have to come check it out.
Yeah, it's what, 20-minute ride?
Yeah. Come hang out in my golf simulator. As soon as lockdown's over. I'm here with my best golfing buddy, Gunnar, rocking the Titleist hat.
This is so bizarre you invited me to your house, which includes a passport. I need a passport to get to your house.
You're so American.
I'm so American.
I have like 4 passports.
I know you're well traveled.
No, I only have 2 passports, but thing is,
That's
like
me.
once you get over here, it's just easier to go places.
It's true.
Like
America, it's very hard to get anywhere.
Well, I think you have to consider, like, from me to St. Andrews is the same as you to Asheville.
Wow, that is so incredible.
Right?
All right, I'll
like from
go.
DC to Asheville, like I was trying to I'm like, is there anything important 3 hours north of New York City?
More New York.
Right? I'm like, because Boston's like 7 hours. So to get from where I grew up to Boston, Massachusetts, you would get to from where I am now in the very south of England to the very north of England in a short amount of time. If you want to drive from like St. Ives, like Land's End to like it's like a 12-hour drive.
Wow.
How long does it take you to drive to Disney World?
St. Ives and Land's End are both
Cornwall.
Did you say Cornwall?
Yeah, they're both in Cornwall.
No, but they're both companies here in the U.S.
Yes, they are. If you'd like some clothes or some face wash, go to Cornwall. But golf's back, so we can actually talk about golf. Remember, like a year ago, we call each other up and be like, why am I calling you? There's no golf to talk about.
A year ago was such a different time, but thank God it happened.
Yes. Yeah.
Because we're here.
We're here. We're doing this.
We wouldn't be here today without a year ago.
Thank you for listening, citizens of the Swingdom. This week on the Swingdom, this is season 2, episode 22.
Is it 22 episodes?
Into season 2.
Wow. We do a lot.
Yeah. I think this is technically episode 669 or 70.
We might be syndicated.
Yeah.
We've done so much.
This is the 2021. Well, I guess it's going to be the Waste Management Open.
Yes.
But we're going to be talking about news. We're going to be talking about the Waste Management Open. We're going to be talking about picks. We're going to be talking about the Dubai International.
Yeah.
Playing in, no, not Dubai, Saudi Arabia International. Saudi International.
We're not calling Mug Dad, are we? Because I'm very upset with how his picks turned out.
Like 1, 2, 3.
Like, don't come on my show. And make those picks and make us look so bad.
Yeah. I was thinking about changing his nickname because he did so well to
No,
Pimento.
no, that's too much credit.
Pimento.
No pimento.
Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Pimento, like Rose's crazy ex-boyfriends.
Hmm.
But it's also like pimento cheese sandwiches.
Right, which is why we can't go that far.
So it's a double it's not a double it's just got double meaning. But he kind of I think he was saying hilarious today. I was like, you look like Pimento. You've got the beard, you've got hair, like you look like Pimento. And he's like, who's that? He's like, you know who you look like? And I was like, who? He's like, you look like Rose's boyfriend from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I was like, we're talking about the same person, and
The
we
exact
don't
same
look.
person.
Well, I was like, we don't look that much alike. We both just happen to have stupid beards right now. To be fair, his beard is magnificent. Mine is just a show of laziness.
It is,
This
but
is
it
lockdown
works.
protest.
Lockdown protest.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the news.
My apologies for that rambling on about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, probably my favorite television show.
Please, Lord, let's talk about news.
Okay, so we've got news this week.
Yes.
And normally I would wait to do we talk about like last week's tournament, talk about our picks, and then talk about the news from that week. But I think it just happens to be the biggest. It was the biggest news this week. It was so big that the RNA and the PGA tried to swamp it with some distance control techniques.
Yes.
But in reality, the biggest thing is Patrick Reed and Rory McIlroy both take drops, even though televised we can see the ball bounces, and neither of them get penalties. So
Yes.
Patrick Reed was on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And Rory's was on Friday.
Sunday. Oh, was it Friday?
Friday. It was before.
Oh, I thought it was after.
It could have been after. I think it was
Sunday.
before.
He was on 18 on Sunday, and I thought it was Sunday.
Oh, maybe it was Sunday.
And everybody hates Patrick Reed.
Yes. Yes. No, it's true.
Yes.
Don't walk that back. Everybody hates Patrick Reed.
No, I'm saying now I think one less person hates him. I think I'm going to start liking him.
Why?
Because I think
he was wrong. I mean,
but nobody told him that. And nobody gave him the stroke penalty afterwards.
First of all, that marshal needs to be fired.
The marshal or the rules official?
The marshal, who's not watching and says, I didn't see it bounce.
Well, they're just volunteers.
Strip them of their volunteership.
Okay. Good job. They're now stripped of their volunteership. Okay, you've won. Now what?
All right. Now, Patrick Reed is a cheater. Okay. And I'm not saying, hold on. Patrick Reed is historically a cheater. And Patrick Reed
says who?
Says
Did you say Peter Costas?
Peter Costas won.
Okay, fine. He did say that.
Most of college athletics while he was playing in college and got kicked off a team for cheating.
Yeah, and then the next year won the collegiate NCAA Division
two.
Yes.
He won 2 of them.
At Augusta National.
He's a cheater. He's just historically a cheater. Okay? It doesn't matter. He's been caught cheating. He's a cheater. And
you know what this is?
Takes gripe with everybody who doesn't like this.
You know what this is.
What is it?
This is our PGA Tour drop rule.
Yes, absolutely. Now I'm all in favor of the PGA Tour.
If you've
let me
listened to our show
explain.
before.
Yeah, okay, let me explain the PGA Tour drop. And this is it. This is exactly what it is. So I play by now I have a legitimate handicap. Okay. And I definitely
No, he doesn't.
I really don't. I have a legitimate handicap. All right. So I do play in tournament rounds.
You play
Okay.
in USGA sanctioned events, even though they're by yourself on your own course.
Yes.
They're technically, if you play around, well, actually, no, if you play around by yourself, does it still count?
No, I play with witnesses.
Yeah. That changed about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. So it used to be that you had to play with another.
You can play by yourself.
But
bring
if
your own
you
scores.
but if you played in an event, like if you played in a sanctioned thing, your witness had to be signed up and have their own number so that you could type their number in to prove as a witness.
Yes, they needed to have a genuine handicap index number.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so when I play by myself or just for fun, right? Mm-hmm. You and I have played several times where I've done this, the PGA Tour drop rule, which I've coined.
Yeah.
Those scores.
To be fair, in terms of handicapping, I've witnessed him coin this.
Yes, in terms of I coined this term because I totally believe it. And for instance, those rounds that I've done that in do not get entered into my.
You still haven't explained what it is.
So, well, because it's going to make me sound like a cheater as soon as I preface.
I don't think so. I think you're going to find a lot of understanding.
Well, I should find a lot of understanding. So the PGA Tour drop. Thank you for reminding me that I am explaining it.
You were going somewhere.
Okay, so the PGA Tour drop is I hit a ball. I know where it went, but I can't find it. So
it's not out of bounds in the
definitely
water. It's
not out of bounds.
Unfindable. Like,
it's like in the rough, and I can't find it.
Yeah, you know that if you were standing in a specific point within 5 feet, you should be able to find your ball.
100%. Or if there's leaves on the ground, it doesn't matter. Whatever. You know it's not gone. You just cannot find it. You take a drop. You agree on a position with your playing partner,
and it's usually like you can find it, but it's going to take you 10 minutes of kicking the leaves around or digging into some soft ground because it's an embedded ball.
Correct. So the PGA Tour, they have
volunteers
marshals and volunteers and officials and crowds. Cameras. I don't have that. So what I do is I take a PGA Tour drop.
Yeah.
I drop the ball where we agree that it should have been.
Yeah.
And I play from there, no stroke penalty, because I don't have the luxury of the PGA Tour. And it's not really fair that I don't get to play as well as I can because I don't have witnesses.
I mean, it's not like we're taking a stroke off of each hole because we don't have green reading books.
Correct.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize that the slope all went this way because I've got 100 little arrows on a half of an A1 piece of paper.
That's my other gripe.
I know, no, that's everybody's gripe.
It's all professionals get cheats. They get cheats.
Caddies. Like, imagine if you had a course caddy at Somerset.
Oh my God, it would be so easy.
It'd be fun.
It would be so fun. So that's the PGA Tour drop. This is what Patrick Reed did. He knows it didn't go out. But although in fairness, he can find his ball, so it's not exactly the same.
Well, it was still flagged.
It was flagged, right? Now, if he couldn't find it and he took a drop, that's technically the PGA Tour drop.
Yeah.
But that's super illegal on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
So
super illegal.
It's super illegal. You don't just
so that's what Patrick Reed did. Patrick Reed hit his ball out of a bunker. It hit the ground. It bounced.
Foreshore bounced.
What?
Foreshore bounced.
Well, no, and the same thing happened with Rory's ball. We'll get into that in a second. But it foreshore bounced on camera.
Mm-hmm.
And no, like, he claims that nobody saw it bounce in his group, which is fine because if it's an uphill, like if you're going uphill to the green and it bounces to the side of the green in the deep rough, like, you're not going to see it.
Right.
What he does is he gets up there and he asks around if anybody saw it bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody said either no or I don't think so.
Right.
And then when he goes down to investigate, he determines that the ball is plugged. Now, it either bounced and landed back in its own divot, or before he picked the ball up, he pushed it into the ground to make a divot.
So do you give him the benefit of the doubt? I guess is the most important question here. Does he get the benefit of the doubt because he deserves it, or does he not get the benefit of the doubt because he's a villain?
No, I think so. I think I have a certain question. I've got a quandary.
Sure.
Did I use that word right?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a popular term in sports,
Uh-huh.
which is if you're not cheating, you're not winning.
I thought it was you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah. If you're not, I've also heard like if you're not cheating, you're not winning. In other sports, you see a lot of people trying to like they change their strategy like relentlessly in
Mm-hmm.
order to figure out a way to get the advantage.
Mm-hmm.
He's
not outside of the rules for what he did.
Okay, that was my question, which is like he got there, everybody agreed with him. Like in the when we play the PGA rules,
Mm-hmm.
like if you're like, oh, like I think I'm right here, and I'm like, no, I heard you hit some trees, and you're like, no, I was here. I just can't find it now under these leaves that happen to not be out of bounds, but are like in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Like the difference between like a lost ball under some leaves in the woods and the difference between like lost ball like under some leaves like in the first cut or second cut, like that's sort of how I see this. Like when you lose a ball out of bounds in the trees, like you've got to call that on yourself.
100%.
Like I don't know that I can actually say like, okay, well, like he pushed the ball. I know that he's constantly accused of like trying to give himself better lies and like adjusting the area around his golf ball so that he like has a better angle of attack and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Look,
like if the PGA really wanted to, like they'd be like, you can't touch the ground until you hit the ball.
Right.
Like you can't ground your club cannot touch a blade of grass until you hit the ground. If you think your ball is plugged, you get the official to pick it up for you.
Which I think should happen. I think an official should come over.
Yeah.
Because let's say who was it?
I understand why, because if it's like if it's a Thursday or Friday round and there's 150 guys out there, you're gonna have
he said pace of play.
Yeah.
He said there was a pace of play issue.
Like if that's the case, like you should have an official or at least the volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody that you put that responsibility onto who's not in it to make $1.2 million.
Right.
Come out and try to pick the ball up.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Because then you can see, you can then see why did I just forget his name? What's wrong with my brain?
Who?
Patrick Reed. Why did I just forget his name? I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. My apologies. Like then you see like Patrick Reed will be like, I'll give you 10%. I'll give you 120 grand if you say this ball's embedded. My other sort of gripe is like he won by 5 strokes.
Right.
He crushed it on Sunday.
He wasn't gonna. He played great. He won.
He plays and to quote somebody, he plays with the fuel of the fire of 1,000 suns.
He's really good. Okay,
really nobody's angry, and he only plays better when he's angry.
Nobody's taking that away from him, and I don't think rightfully so. I don't think anybody should. I think this calls into question his integrity on the course.
Okay, number one, you shouldn't be questioning his integrity on the course.
Why not?
Because he doesn't have any. Like we know that. Right.
So why isn't he under more? Why isn't he getting the Bryson DeChambeau treatment?
So Xander Schauffele
when it comes to rules,
Xander Schauffele came out and said this and said there are certain guys out here protected by the PGA Tour.
Yes, I did see that.
Right, and that was all he said. Now, what I'm going to extrapolate.
I've heard it both ways.
Extrapolate. What I'm going to extrapolate from that is that I think the PGA Tour knows they need a bad guy.
Uh-huh.
And they get just as much, if not more, attention when Patrick Reed is in trouble than they do if somebody like Rory, DJ, Brooks, Justin Thomas, or Bryson win a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are all in the negative like space at the moment, and it makes me a little bit angry. But it seems to be where they thrive.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like we're a rich sport that not everybody has accessibility to. And what's going to get people engaged, whether they're happy about it or angry about it, is going to be rich people taking advantage of a game that makes them rich.
All press is good press.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you.
So apparently Xander then apologized to Patrick Reed when he was on his way to Saudi Arabia. They've hashed it out, but I'm with you. I'm with him. I think the PGA protects Captain America.
Yeah, I don't think they should. I
also wish he had a different name.
They
should call him like the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Because he's like the Scorpion and the Toad. He's like that guy.
Yeah.
You know that story?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
he's the Scorpion.
I think
the PGA's the Toad.
Right. I get it.
Do you get it?
I get it.
Do you know the story?
Yes.
Okay, so there's a scorpion. And the scorpion's like, I've got to get across this river. And the toad's like, I'm not going to take you across the river because you're going to kill me. You're going to sting me, and then we're not going to make it off the river. And then I'm going to die. And the scorpion's like, no, I promise I won't sting you. Let's go across the river. They get halfway across the river, and the scorpion stings the toad, and they both drown. Because I think I missed a part. I think the scorpion was like, no, if I sting you, then we both die.
We'll die.
Then that's not good for me. Well, he stings him anyway.
And he was like, oh, yeah.
And the toad's like, why? Why did you sting me? Like, we're both going to die. And the scorpion's like, I'm a scorpion, man. Scorpion's got a scorp.
Scorpion's got a scorp.
I just like, all the children listening out there, I am a great storyteller.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't help myself. You were just ready to be stung.
Yeah. I think Patrick Reed is the Scorpion. I think at every opportunity, the PGA is like, you're a Masters champion, you're a Ryder Cup hero, you shush everybody, everybody hates you. You've been caught cheating now like 3 or 4 times, but the ratings love you. And at the end of the day, this is a television show.
It's a TV show.
And Patrick Reed's just like,
look,
Scorpion's got a scorp, bruh. He just jumps on his brother-in-law's back, just like rides out into glory.
He really is. He just is a bad guy.
Yes.
He's a bad guy in golf, and he needs to be under more scrutiny from the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
This helps us roll into the next topic.
Keep scorping about.
It's got a scorp.
Yeah.
But this lets us roll into the next topic because he needs to have the Bryson DeChambeau treatment. Like I said, he has to.
Bryson DeChambeau's the only person.
You have to.
Bryson DeChambeau treatment. Okay, so then the other bit, my second bit of.
But the USGA is so against the Bryson DeChambeau. They're so against him.
We'll get into that in a second. I promise. So the same thing happens to Rory McIlroy, where his ball bounces.
Oh, yes.
And then he gets relief.
Does it bounce? I thought it was plugged.
No, it
bounces. Was in his pitch mark.
And then he claims that it's in his pitch mark. But guess what happened yesterday morning?
What?
A letter from a volunteer arrives at the PGA of America. And it says, I hope Rory will forgive me.
Is this armchair? Oh, no.
I hope Rory will forgive me.
He's a cheater.
I stepped on his golf ball while I was looking for it, and I was afraid to say something. Anonymous volunteer.
Oh, that's free relief. That's anonymous. Actually, this is really good. So I got a good
like, is this the PGA protecting their own? Is this the PGA protecting their own?
Is it Rory?
Where's the second shooter?
Is Rory? it's
sorry, that's deep. That's deep. Like I'm just like at this point, I'm getting into like PGA conspiracy nonsense because I don't believe that this can happen twice and nothing happens.
Okay, so here's a great conspiracy for you, just like your anonymous letter writer. Okay, on Twitter.
Through the door because we're talking about conspiracies.
They're watching. What's the equivalent of the FBI in
MI6.
in England?
No, that's CIA. CIA is MI6.
That's CIA. They don't care. The CIA really doesn't care.
The FBI is like that's just. I think that's Scotland Yard.
They're coming. They're coming for you. So
does anybody have any aluminum
on
foil?
Twitter,
I need to make a hat.
On Twitter, Patrick Reed in all caps writes,
I did not cheat. Guilty.
Rory McIlroy did the same thing and nobody bats an eye.
Yeah.
There is an account on Twitter called @UseGolfFacts who minutes before wrote the exact same thing exactly the same way. And if you scroll through this Use Golf Facts Twitter account, it attacks every player on the PGA Tour who is any good, yet always runs to the defense of Patrick Reed. And I wonder,
it's his wife.
I'm very curious
it's
if he's connected. It's got to be his wife.
It's either his wife or it's him. Well, remember
I
his
don't
like
know.
so remember when like all this stuff started coming out? I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. Like his wife came to his defense and his like everybody like jumped all over his wife. And I was just sort of like, look, like let's keep the family out of it. Like not in terms of Patrick Reed, but like the general public.
Yeah,
Because
but wasn't she caddying for him?
Yeah,
when that happened?
I get that everybody like has an opinion. Like, and that's what Twitter's for. But like I think that like there needs to be a certain level of personal responsibility.
100%.
Like,
and
I just
he
feel
really
like,
doesn't take any responsibility.
So I thought that was like weird. You know, Rory McIlroy plays the whole like, oh my God, I was so worried that I pulled the Patrick Reed and oh my gosh, it could have been the worst thing ever. But then this letter came through and I was so relieved that a volunteer had stepped on my golf ball. And I was just like, I mean, the PGA knows who their inner circle is.
100%.
And it definitely consists of like guys who win the Masters jacket. Guys who win the green jacket are in the circle.
Yeah,
like,
even Danny Willett.
Yeah, like I don't believe like Brooks is in the inner circle.
No.
Like I think Brooks could still be like sort of pushed out. Like JT, he got a little bit pushed out a few weeks ago.
Yeah, although that died very quick. I wonder how long we're going to continue to talk about Patrick Reed.
What the thing is like it depends on when it happens next. You know? Like I thought it would all go away because he won by 5 shots. Tony Finau came in second. Like I thought it was all going to go away.
Oh, I called that, by the way, didn't I? I said, well, Finau can't do better than second, so I'm clear. Robbed of another one.
All right. So what's next?
All right. So the USGA and R&A are coming after Bryson DeChambeau and his 48-inch driver, and they're considering banding together to make the club length limit 46 inches, all because Bryson DeChambeau swears it's a big help to his distance is this extra 2 inches.
So
I'm speculating on that last part.
I was going to say, I did a bit of reading on this. And we're going to talk about Rory again in a second because Rory came to the defense of the players in this.
100%.
Which I
use a 90-inch driver. If you're dumb enough to try it, go for it.
Which is what Rory's not my favorite player on tour. And I don't really understand how out of like everybody there, he's become like the next voice of the PGA Tour from the players' perspective. He's like
the Players Association president. Like that's who he is. Yeah. Like the NFL PA or the MLB PA or the NBA Association.
He's head of the
union. Guy. He's the head of the union. He's the guy.
I get that. So I thought it was weird that they would announce it this week because it's not like nobody playing this week was really hammering it.
No.
Like you didn't see any like record breakers or anything like that. So I think they really did drop this just to cover up the other things.
When's the US Open? Is that the first?
It's August, isn't it?
It's August. Is it? I'm gonna have to look at what the next major is because I have a conspiracy theory about this. I really do.
It's the Players, then it's
the Masters. It's the Masters in April. I wonder if this is.
So wait, did they move the Players to May?
No, the Players. The Players isn't a major.
I still count.
I mean, it's a major.
I've got the Big Five.
It's you're wrong, but it's not really a major.
No. So it's the Masters, the PGA.
No, PGA is last.
Yeah, sorry. It's Masters, US Championship, British Open, PGA Tour Championship.
Correct. The big seven.
You've got April, May, June, July, and then like September.
Right.
So it's in July? No, it's in August. They take like June or something off. It's weird.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. The Masters is first, and the
Masters is usually like 420.
So we took a pause there. That was an intentional silence. The Masters is up first, right? It's very soon. So my guess,
it's April.
I'm with
it's
you.
Usually like it's the third week of April.
I'm looking at it right now. It's April 8th. So
the first week of April. I was on that.
You were on that. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm with you that they did this to try and shut up the Patrick Reed talk. I also think that they're like, oh, the Masters is coming up. Bryson had this plan to outdrive Augusta, and he then ended up winning the U.S. Open. Like, we're not going to give this guy the Masters championship.
No,
Let's make a rule
so last year,
and take it away from him.
Yeah. So last year he overpowers the USGA. He goes to Augusta with the intention of overpowering it. Like, right, he came out and he was like, "Oh, Augusta's playing like a par 67," and everybody was like, "Oh yeah," and then he like missed the cut, or he like made the cut on the line. It was bad news bears for Bryson DeChambeau. DJ wins it, and yes, he hits it long, but DJ's best part of his game is like 125 yards and in.
Right.
Like, he absolutely like he kills it from 125 yards in. Like, his wedge matrix mapping is insane.
And
so I think they did this. They're thinking about so they spent millions of dollars figuring out how far are pros hitting it now compared to the average player and compared to historically. Well, they didn't come up with like any real data. I think there was like an 8% increase over the last like 10 years, where it was like an 8% increase over the last 60 years.
Right.
So they're like, oh, this is a big, like, in comparison to like this time frame and this time frame, there's a big jump.
Right.
But if you look at it, like, the guys now are averaging, like, the tour average is like 290, 295.
Yeah.
And 20 years ago, it was like 285. So like the average has only gone up by 10 yards. The problem is you now have these outliers who are just killing it.
What's Bryson's average drive? What do you say? 311?
I want to say 319.
319. You want, because you're saying they're taking in the average players. I would assume that means amateurs.
No, on tour.
I was going to say, because my average drive is somewhere between 240 and 300. Because sometimes I can get there.
That's 60 yards.
That's my average. It's because I don't know. It's not like I can control it. I either hit it good or I don't.
I either hit 300 yards or I hit it 7.
My average drive is between 300 and accidentally knocking it off the tee while I'm putting my driver down.
So no, like, this is my thing, right? Like, so my driver average, when I hit a good driver, I can hit it 280.
Yeah, but that's not your average.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
What do you think my average drive is according to Arcos?
260.
No.
What is it?
I'll give you 2 more guesses.
275. 230.
Yes, 225.
That's not true, though.
It is. because when I duff it, or I
That's
shove
right.
it into
That's
the trees, it's still my driver.
Arcos is not fair.
No, I don't, and that's what I mean. Like, I don't think it is. I think and that's the thing.
That's
is,
exactly what I'm saying, though. Like,
I think
my
the
average is a
average-
60 span.
Yeah. Like, so this is the thing, right? Like, my average is 225 distance.
Uh-huh.
But if you count like how far it goes out to the right, like I
Mhm.
get a good like 250 yards just right.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
my slice is like it's going 225 that way, but it's also going like that. So total distance is probably like 500 yards as the crow flies.
You hit such you're saying your slice is so good.
Violent.
Your slice is so violent. Every tee shot counts as a trick shot. That's what you're saying.
When I'm playing on hole 1, I've got to aim up like 14.
Mm. Speaking of trick shots,
Yeah.
I learned how to duck hook on purpose. It's very fascinating. I
You
learned
duck hook
how
on purpose.
I can't. I've never been able to turn the ball to the left.
Oh, yeah.
I can
well,
go
that's how you
straight.
start. Yeah.
No, I've never done it.
I've always
I've-
hit a perfect draw.
No, I don't hit a draw.
Straight
I hit
fade.
a cut. I hit
Hit a
a
perfect
fade
fade.
or a cut, and
Got a Bubba Watson cut.
I definitely hit a Bubba Watson cut. I can do
Out
that.
of here.
But the draw, I've never been able to make it go left. And we were at the driving range Saturday,
Yeah.
and I figured out how to duck hook the ball, and I was like, I could use this. I could do this. It's good. Is this shot shaping?
The
I have
thing
no
is,
idea.
like, so when I duck hook a ball, it doesn't like with a driver, it doesn't go further than 150 yards. Because there's so much right to left spin that it
Yeah.
just like goes straight to the
Falls.
ground.
I
drops down.
was doing it with a hybrid, and
Oh, okay.
it was going.
It was okay, great.
It was moving.
Maybe that's just a fade then. Maybe that's just a draw. Maybe it's just an over enunciated draw.
No. It was
Okay.
about 70 yards right to
So-
left.
So yeah, so they're thinking. So the PGA and the RNA are thinking about adopting another Bryson rule, which is yes, cutting the distance. One of the things that they're going to do is drop the driver length down from 48 to 46 inches. They're talking about getting PGA Tour only balls and doing some other PGA Tour only stuff, which isn't going to affect the rest of us.
Right.
But again, it's like having every basketball court in the United States, like having a hoop at 10 feet. And then going to watch the NBA and the hoop's at 12.
Right. Which it should be. But
Which
yes.
it should be. Because like anybody who's like 6'8" to 7'8",
They don't
like,
jump.
they don't jump.
They reach.
They just,
They reach aggressively.
yeah. Like imagine if the NFL was like 150-yard field and first downs were 15 yards.
I could be okay with that too.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be okay with it, but I think like that's the thing about golf and basketball and soccer, which like reasonably should be the games of the people. I know we talked about this a bit with JR, but like everybody's using the same equipment.
Uh-huh.
Winky winky, like everybody's using the same golf balls, like winky.
Not
winky,
Webb
like,
Simpson's was it Webb Simpson with the $800 mystery driver shaft?
Yes. But Webb Simpson also came out and he said we shouldn't be adjusting the distance. We shouldn't be worrying about that. We should be making the golf courses harder.
No, I got to play those golf courses.
That's what I'm like. I'm sort of like, okay, like I just don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to. I think the PGA really needs to pick a lane, whether it is going to be like a game that people can go and feel like. I'm never going to be able to go to Madison Square Garden and play pickup ball on the court.
Right, never.
Never.
No, it's just a place you don't get to go.
I'm not going to MetLife Stadium to like throw a few. I'm not going to Yankee Stadium and having some batting. Like it's just not. It's not in the cards for me. But I can go to TPC Scottsdale and play golf.
Yeah.
And play the same course and everything will be the same, except it'll be in slightly worse condition for me because I'm not making money. I have to pay money to play, which means of course it's gonna be worse for me. But yeah, it's just really, really weird. I really appreciate that Rory McIlroy. We're back to Rory McIlroy. He came out and said, first of all, nobody asked him about the distance turn back, whatever they're calling it. And so he said to the reporters, and why isn't anybody asking me about equipment? Why isn't this happening? And then he went out on a limb, and I wrote this down because I thought it was very fascinating. He said the PGA and the RNA are probably going to get mad at me. But he says the distance study was a big waste of money. He said, why are you spending millions of dollars trying to figure out why the ball is going 10 yards further? Put that into grassroots programs.
Yep.
But it's the same as everything else. And I'm now getting into like serious, like Ben the conspiracy theory mode. But it's like, their friends are saying like, I can go test out some drivers for you. It'll just cost you $500,000. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they've got their own sort of like study labs to figure this out.
Oh yeah, they have those. They have all you need is $100,000 robot and a bucket of balls, and that's it.
But not even that. Like you've got, how much I'm going to charge you $70 an hour to look through stats for the last 200 years.
Right.
Speaking of which, we need a Patreon account so you guys can help us pay for this wonderful podcast. So he threw it under the bus, and then he just basically was just sort of like, he's like, it needs to go into grassroots programs. Like we need to grow the game. He said something I didn't really like. He said this pandemic is the best thing that's happened to golf since Tiger Woods.
It's true.
I'm like, yeah,
He's not wrong.
I'm like, to be fair, maybe yes for like the game, but in terms of like country clubs, I imagine they're closing down because the majority of their elder statesmen are not coming to the course anymore for one reason or another.
Right. But he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready for the first read?
No, one last bit of news that we can just skate over. TaylorMade has been put up for sale, and it is $2 billion.
Oh man, I only got 1.5 in my pocket right now.
Anybody with 2 B's can go have TaylorMade. There you go. Boom shakalaka. Call it a day.
Who do you think gets it?
I don't know.
You think Nike buys it to get Tiger back, since they don't actually have a club manufacturer?
Oh, I wonder. That's a good idea, but I think. I don't know. I wonder if you.
I'm always thinking.
Oh,
that's my brain.
Like, why are you aggressively touching your face?
All right.
Yeah. Like, anyways, if any of our listeners has $2 billion, go for it.
Or even if all of our listeners collectively
have $2 billion, we could own it. There you go.
To be fair, I would. If that was the case, we would all go out and play with Tiger Woods.
Yeah,
I would.
So
I would be like, all right, Tiger,
come on. Yeah.
All right, let's go to the read. 225-yard drive. What do you think of that?
It's time for us to put down our bag.
There it is.
Hear from our sponsors.
Can you hear the right button being pressed this time?
I did hear the right button being pressed.
Yes. Hello, welcome to the Swingdom.
Thank you very much.
How are the hearing aids? Tell us about some wonderful hearing aids today, Coach Joe.
Well, we got a whole new line yesterday of affordable hearing aids, which is just wonderful.
That's great.
For the level of technology that people are being fit with right now, you would think that's $8,000 for a pair, and many places they are. But it's nice now that we can do it for a fraction of that cost, and the fraction is not 7/8. But it's a fraction. So it's nice to have the technology that now everybody can actually have in their ears and afford.
Just curious, is this technology just like a cardboard like tube that you hold to your ear?
No. It's circuits. It's circuits glued to a cardboard tube that you hold to your ear.
Oh,
I was just making sure. It's like we've got affordable technology. These orange cones that we just happened to find on the side of the road. Just hold them up.
Actually, what I'm working on is a cardboard tube that I'm going to duct tape to a putter to help me with my short game.
That's wonderful. That's absolutely fantastic.
That's technically technology. That's technology.
I'm thinking about doing that. I'm also considering getting on Shark Tank.
You can call it the putt ear instead of putter. The putt ear.
With a chip in those little golf balls that we use, so I can stop losing golf balls. A GPS chip in a golf ball. I'll never lose another golf ball.
You'll still
What do
lose
you
a
think?
golf ball.
I'll probably still lose a golf.
It's not that. The thing is, like, it's great to know that you've got a chip in your golf ball. It just also is terrible to know that you need a bathing suit and a towel to go get it.
And my hearing aids are not waterproof, so I can't even go in.
Oh,
Can't even go in.
man. So
Rats.
how is everything at Beltone, Jersey Shore?
Well, I just got my second COVID shot, which I'm
All
very happy
right.
You are COVID
So
free
I
and
am-
secure.
and they give you a card to carry around. So I am a card carrying COVID, whatever.
You're a card carrying member of the COVID party.
So this is what I wanted to talk to you about golf this time.
Okay.
How far is St. Vincent's from you?
St. Vincent's.
What's it called? You
St.
know, the
Andrews.
British Open. St. Andrews.
I'm like St. Vincent's is your Presbyterian church that's down the road
No,
from where
no,
we
no.
grew up. That's where you took the kids to Sunday school.
St. Vincent's is Bill Murray's best movie.
Okay, sorry, Bill Murray. I apologize for not knowing that.
And it's a great movie. You should both watch it. So how far are you from St. Andrews?
How is this always so full circle? I am about 8 hours from it. How long does it take you to drive to Boston?
5 hours.
Okay, how long does it take you to drive to Vermont?
4 hours.
Great. So like if you double that.
You can get there and back.
So I think from Gunner up to Boston is 8 hours.
Gotcha.
And that's how far I am from St. Andrews. I'm about 8.5 hours.
Because when I come to see you, as much as I've heard about this, we're going to have to, am I allowed on that course being a novice?
Yeah.
see why not,
It's
yeah.
4 novices.
It's it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it's a public course, right?
Yeah.
If you
Very
live,
cool.
if you live in the town, you're technically like a member. But
Gotcha.
that's the only way to really. I think that's one of the only ways to be members. Like you have to live in St. Andrews.
Very
Mhm.
cool. Okay, I have another golf question.
Okay.
Do you guys know what PGA course has the smallest greens?
I want to say it's Harbor Town Links.
Nope. Keep going.
Keep going.
So this is what Google told me. I could be wrong. Pebble Beach has the smallest greens.
I don't. That
Hello?
course they played last week
I'm thinking.
seems
I'm thinking.
very, very
Maybe
tiny.
just majors. Is it maybe they're just talking about the majors?
That
Is Pebble
might,
Beach?
I was say that might just be the majors because from what I remember, Pebble Beach has quite large greens.
So the reason I was looking that up is because I was wondering what golf courses on the tour have perched greens, the most perched greens, like perched villages in Europe.
No,
Are
I know
there
what
any,
you're
or is
saying.
that
Like so in golf we call those like are they called turtlebacks?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's what I've heard them call that, but it's basically like they're rounded greens, and usually that happens because they haven't redesigned the course in so long that like the outside of the green sort of deteriorates away over like the century that people have been
Gotcha.
playing golf there. You see a very good example of I want to say it's a TA is it Tillinghast. There's a Tillinghast course in Eatontown that it was across from Fort Monmouth.
Okay,
He's the same guy who designed Augusta National,
interesting.
the Masters.
Gotcha.
So like,
See,
yeah.
I know in Augusta there is one hole there which is getting uphill to the green.
Oh, there's a bunch of them. The one that they talk, I mean, the one is most of them is 18, but I would say
Gotcha.
most courses, half of them are because you're either walking uphill or downhill to a hole.
What
Gotcha.
is the
Okay.
course? They just played it a
Torrey
couple
Pines?
months. They just played it a couple months ago, and that most of their greens were elevated.
It's
Oh,
so interesting.
Was it West Coast, East Coast? What?
was it Winged Foot?
It might. That's a really old course. It might be Winged Foot. It might be Olympic Club. A lot of the
They-
times, like the thing that they do now with a lot of these courses, and you'll see it this week at TPC Scottsdale, is like in the last 20, 25, 30 years, they've designed these golf courses so they actually have a stadium-like effect, which is why
Gotcha.
this is called the stadium course, which is
Mhm.
like they keep the greens and they keep the fairways sort of down, like settled down about 2 or 3 yards from like the furthest out point to the side, and so that when it's standing room only, you can see over the head. So it's a bit like being in an auditorium.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
Why
like
don't why don't they just put a stadium around it?
They do.
I guess they do.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
they
they have
do.
6. We're going to talk about that TPC Sawgrass Stadium. Like they didn't have a stadium there, and then I want to say it was 97. Tiger Woods hit hole in 1 on 16, and like if you just go check it out on YouTube, it's just it's a cascade of beer cans and beer and everything. And people
do you
just go
guys
nuts.
find? Do you guys find that the elevated greens are frustrating or are they challenging? Do you like them or you'd rather not?
I think that's the same word.
Okay, good enough.
Yes, I'm just gonna say yes. The thing is when you're playing with an elevated green, or even like, I think this is the thing that most beginner golfers don't take into account. Most like mid handicap golfers don't take into account until quite late in their game, is that if it's an elevated green, it doesn't just affect how you see the course. It legitimately affects your distance.
Makes sense.
So if the green,
so it's really a lesser distance because it's elevated.
Yeah, it's if it's 5 yards above you, it's almost like taking 5 yards off your shot.
Makes sense.
If it's it's the opposite. It's right. If it's above you, it's 5 yards longer.
Longer, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and if it's below you, it's 5 yards shorter. So you can club down because you're like, when you're out on the driving range, you're hitting to a level field. So you get your distances in your clubs that way. And then when you're playing downhill, downwind, all that sort of stuff. I think the hardest part with an elevated green, not being able to see the green with your approach shot, is sort of knowing where your landing zone is. Because in golf, a lot of the time, it's not about how good is your shot. It's about how good is your miss.
Interesting.
So unless you're really good, you're just thinking, okay, like I want to land it either on the green in this section, or I want to miss it off the green in this area.
Interesting.
So
you really have to know the course.
You've got to know the course, which is why we always complain about PGA Tour players having caddies and green reading books and practice rounds.
But that's also why you guys, which is such a unique and original idea, you guys have the T's to the G's.
We have the T's and the G's, and we're gonna be talking about the 16th at TPC Sawgrass, TPC Stadium course today. I think we might even talk about 17.
Well, I'm going to go now because I'm going to go try to fit some poor, hard of hearing people with these superb and superior hearing aids.
Okay, don't forget, if you use the code word golf, not only do you get a free hearing test, you get a free packet of batteries.
That's very true. A 4-pack, not an 8-pack. Don't push it.
Oh, I thought it was a 4-pack of sachets. I thought it was 16 batteries.
Yeah, I thought it was 4 packs.
There you go.
Yeah, 4 packs of batteries.
Take it easy, Coach Joe. Have a good one. Bye.
See you, Gutter.
See ya.
That's it. What'd you think of that read?
And now to your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
Wow, what a great read.
Great read.
What a great
732-888-9000, BelltoneJerseyShore.com.
I just got to be aware that he's going to ask me a weird question. But yes, 732-888-9000. Use the code word golf, or check them out at BelltoneJerseyShore.com. BelltoneJerseyShore.com. Let us get into the golf. We've discussed it a little bit already. Patrick Reed won this week at the
Farmers Insurance Open.
The Farmers Insurance Open by 5 over Tony Finau.
All right. So I think, the Farmers, it was a fine tournament. It was fine. It had a bunch of big names. It was exciting. Obviously, the most exciting 2 days were Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to talk about Saturday, because you and I have a differing opinion here, but I think you watched more of it. I do more of the follow-up when I hear controversy, and I'm excited about it. And then I pick a side to argue whether or not I believe in it.
Which is why I'm still on Team Patrick Reed, even though I don't believe that. No, Saturday was just mired in controversy. Everybody played good golf.
Yes.
Bunch of scores in the 60s, but a lot of people had a hard time breaking 70. I think it was the hardest round of the week.
Yes.
Saturday, which usually it is, because I think they know they get the most television numbers on Sunday.
But it was weather. There was a ton of weather during the week. So
Yeah. So I mean, we went into Saturday. Patrick Reed, top of the leaderboard. Is he tied?
I believe he has a 1-stroke lead, or he's tied for first.
Yeah. We're so good at this. Where's your face?
It's missing
Why does your face go away all the time?
because I'm adjusting my camera.
To what?
It messes up.
So adjust it while I can see you.
It's okay.
Okay. So then let's just move on to Sunday. Sunday, everybody was pretty close. You had John Rahm, Tony Finau, Victor Hovland, all in the top 4 until around the 6th hole when Patrick Reed eagles. Goes to 7, hits a birdie, and he says goodbye from there. Puts on his Captain America mask and shield and
Runs away with it.
runs somewhere. He just, you know what I mean? He just sort of like a scorpion in the desert, just
Scorpion.
just
Scorp.
just scorpion straight away. I had a hard time watching the back nine just because I was like, oh, Patrick Reed's got this. Like, I didn't want to be one of those people who watch the entire back nine being like, triple bogey, triple bogey, triple bogey, triple bogey. Like, I just didn't want to do that. I don't like being that guy. I'm not one of those guys who's like, I'm not going to go out and make 1,000 Patrick Reed memes. Like, I know what he did was unsavory. It didn't taste good.
Nope.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Had too much salt. Too much salt in it.
It's too salty.
Too salty.
I don't think that's like for us on Twitter and Instagram to like be the moderators of the PGA Tour. Like the PGA Tour's got to learn to do that themselves. And they didn't. I mean, they didn't disqualify him, but they didn't give him a one-shot penalty, which could have changed Sunday entirely. Even the thing is, and that's sort of the thing is like, it's like, oh, well, after the fact, we were able to make this penalty call.
Yeah.
And like they do that with just about everything else that like blows your mind. Like they did it with Lexi Thompson in the putter mark. They did it with Tiger Woods at the Masters in 14 or 15 or something. Like you know what I mean? They have the technology
to get it right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this is sort of like a VAR moment for the PGA Tour, and they just sort of let it pass by. And I think that's half because Rory would have gotten caught in the same boat. But Patrick Reed wins by 5, and he gets up at the end and says, "Look, the PGA Tour got it right. It fueled me to go on and win. I won. On to Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati.
On to Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Like, and that's where he is now. So, you want to go over our scores?
All right, let's go over our scores. Here are my people. John Rahm tied for 7th. Xander Schauffele tied for 2nd in y'all's face. Everybody said he can't do it, and I said he could, and he did.
Well, guess what? He didn't win.
He didn't win. Harris English missed the cut. I had Doc Redman as a long shot cut, my guy. And my prop to that Phil Mickelson to beat Ricky Fowler, they tied. Interestingly enough, Phil makes a huge birdie to make the cut.
Yeah.
And Ricky Fowler 3 putts to tie Phil Mickelson. So at the cut line. Ben had Rory McIlroy tied for 16th. Tony Finau tied for 2nd. And Will Zalatoris, big finish at T7. Alex Noren finished top 10. He finished 37th. And
I was still super psyched that he made the cut and finished top 40.
He did.
I could say that. I mean, I was super psyched he finished in the top 30s is what I probably should be saying.
That's right.
But yeah.
And you had Phil and Ricky both to miss the cut. And like I said, they barely made the cut. So that was kind of
squeaked on by, didn't they?
Yeah. And big shout out to Golf Numbers and Mug Dad for their picks this week.
Yeah. That's my fault this week for not getting in contact with Golf Numbers soon enough. He'll probably be on the show next week. And then we'll have Mug Dad coming up in the next segment.
That's right.
Yeah. So what are the numbers?
All right. So I finished 1,305. You finished 1,705, and you maintain a 400-point lead. So
Wait,
not bad.
I was winning last week.
And
by
you're
like-
winning this week.
By 20 points.
Yeah.
And then I just beat you by 700 points.
No, that's not how numbers work. You beat me by exactly 400 points.
What did you score?
1,305.
Okay, and I got
1,705.
Okay.
That's exactly 400.
Saying.
So yes, technically you are winning by 419 points.
Yes.
That's what you're winning as. So, Mug Dad not winning. That's all I'm gonna say. Not winning.
Mug Dad crushed us.
He really did.
All right, we've got to get into the TPC Sawgrass.
TPC Sawgrass, Scottsdale, Arizona.
TPC. I kept saying I wrote it was like in Phoenix, Arizona, but it's not. It's in Scottsdale.
No, it's in
New
Scottsdale.
Mexico.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale, Arizona. Where golf numbers is. We should have had him on the show.
I know golf numbers is in Arizona.
He's gonna give us his numbers. Check out his numbers on the Instagram.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, RJ. I'm sorry. I will get to you. We will get back to you. You will be on the show. To be fair, he's probably like camped out at 16, having a bunch of
Cold snacks.
cold snacks. Yeah, so it's the Waste Management. They're playing in Scottsdale, TPC Scottsdale, the stadium course, par 71. The yardage is 7261.
Yep. It's a Tom Weiskopf design.
Yeah, it's the only course and the only player to have a hole-in-one on a par 4. And this guy hits it 330 yards. It bounces off of the putter of the guy reading reading the putt, and it then bounces off his putter and goes into the hole. And they're just like, "Wait a second,
That wasn't my ball.
that wasn't my ball. I hit somebody else's ball. Is that a penalty on me? Is that a penalty on him? Apparently he double bogeyed 15, bogeyed 16, and then gets to 17, which is a drivable par 4. Speaking of T's and the G's.
T's and the G's.
330 yards. It's like, doesn't want to wait for them to get off the green. He's like, I can't hit it 330 yards. He bombs it. It hits on the down slope of the center fairway bunker, like just over it, and rolls on like another 40 yards. The guy's down, he's down doing his whole plumb bob. And then he puts the putter down, and it hits off of his putter, lands in the hole with no flag stick in.
Well, you know what that tells me? That the guy
There's hope for all of us.
that the guy who was reading the green had a good line.
Yes.
He had a good line.
And they left it in there until he came and picked it up.
I think they have to. I don't think
left it in there.
I don't think you can put a ball into a hole with
Yeah.
another ball in it.
So this is the stadium course. This is most famous for the stadium they literally build around 16.
Yep.
Where everybody chants at everybody.
Mhm.
They get all riled up. They throw out gear to the fans. Like Ricky Fowler's always chucking out Puma hats.
Always giving out stuff.
People are throwing footballs into the stands. Everybody just has an absolute blast here.
They wear jerseys.
This is the one experience in golf that I think we have to experience at some point.
100%. 100%.
That and an Open at St. Andrews, but I've already done that. So I move on. I can do whatever I need to do somewhere else.
Isn't that special?
Do I get the picks this week, or do you get the picks this week?
You get the picks.
All right.
You got your picks?
I've got my picks.
All right, let's hear them.
Pick number 1.
You didn't sound like you had the picks ready.
I've got a list of 5 right here, and I'm like, well, I don't know.
Right.
Xander Schauffele.
He's not very good.
He's not very good. I read a stat that he's placed top 25 in the last 14 events.
Really?
Yeah. He is a lock to miss the cut this week.
100%. You know, karma's going to come after you for picking him after last week.
Especially like just reading that stat line and being like, not even like, because I'm not even going with like a gut. Like normally, you know how I am. I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling it. Like I'm going guts. I'm doing it. I'm like, nope, not happening. I read a stat line. I know that Gunner's gonna pick him first or second, and I am going for the steal.
I had him second.
I know who you have first.
Do you? I'll type it in. Who is it?
You're dressed like him today. If only you were wearing more. Well, I guess you can't wear the Ralph Lauren anymore.
No, that's not who I'm picking. No, Ben, I'm
Picking
dancing
the Spaniard with a lanyard.
I'm picking the ones I dance with the ones who bring me. You know what I'm saying? And John Rahm's my man.
All right. Oh man, he's not on my list.
That means he's gonna win because y'all were so mad at Xander Schauffele last week.
I know.
Every single one of you were mad. Who do you got?
You know what? I'm going for my list. I'm going for my gut picks. I am not
go to your list. Leave my list alone.
The steals anymore. I am going with Dan the Burger Van Man Burger.
He's on my list. He was my final pick. He was my tiebreaker pick if you happen to pick 3 of my guys.
Yeah. No, I know. He's sort of like he's there, and I'm like, this is.
That's him. All right. He's all right. He's my 6th pick.
All right.
All right. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Yeah, it's a real shame he can't wear the Ralph Lauren anymore.
I wonder if he's just gonna have like a Citibank NASCAR jumpsuit.
I hope so. But Justin Thomas is above all this. He's gonna win this week, or at least play really well. There's no way he can play worse than he has been. So I'm calling for a comeback tour.
He missed the cut last week, and he's now done probably like 12,000 miles in 2 weeks without with only one COVID test.
I think he's gonna win. All right, who you got? Who's your last pick?
I'm going with my boy, defending Players Champion, Sung JM.
I'm so with you.
Yeah.
It's only right. Sung JM is such a good player. He is such a good player, but not better than Rory McIlroy. Bow, 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 bow.
I knew it.
Those are
that's literally my list is
I'm so
Justin
chalky.
Xander, Berger, Rory, and Sung Jae.
Yep.
And it's not even that chalky because there's a bunch of other chalky guys in there. Oh, and John Rahm. John Rahm's super chalky.
He is super
chalky.
You
went chalktacular.
I go so chalk. You know I do, but the numbers.
My guys are like in the top 15, but like your guys are chalktacular.
Yeah, but my numbers, the numbers don't lie. The predictions don't lie.
It's not that. I always feel like when you go chalktacular like this, I feel like these guys guys like Rory either hit or miss. And I feel like guys like Daniel Berger and Sung JM, like if like they're a top 20 to them is winning. So they fight for that top 20 tooth and nail.
Yeah, but I tell you what, so you and I obviously play this game differently.
Like Webb Simpson was super chalky. You didn't pick Webb Simpson?
He's on my list.
I was going to pick Rory. If it wasn't for Xander, I was going to pick Rory.
Yeah, Webb Simpson's on my list. The only person that didn't get picked off my list.
Matsuyama.
No, it was Sung JM. And that was in place of Webb Simpson. But play it. I have Webb Simpson on my list. All of these players we just picked, except for Sung JM, were on my list.
Oh, you didn't have Sung Jae on your list because you knew I was going to pick him, or because you wouldn't go with them?
I wasn't going to go with him.
So who would I have had to have picked? I would have had to have picked John Rahm, Rory, and Justin Thomas successively in order for you to. That's the thing is like you only need 4 picks.
Yeah, but I have them listed, so I write them down in order.
How many picks do you make?
6.
Why?
Because I don't know what's gonna. Because if I pick 5, and you take 3 of my players, then I need a 6th pick.
I only ever do 4.
Right, because you and I don't pick the same.
Yeah, I think sometimes I do 5, but like I usually do 4 with a 5th in my head.
I do 6 every week.
All right. This is going to be a tournament that I'm going to watch a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year. And the other news is they're actually going to have fans here.
Yes, I don't think they should, but they will.
They will. I don't disagree with you. I wonder how that's going to affect people actually hearing roars for the first time, because it's now going from country club golf to the real deal.
Right.
But Patrick Reed isn't there to get yelled at. He's in Saudi Arabia.
That's right.
Yeah.
He's gonna get yelled at there anyways.
All right. We're gonna.
What's your long shot? We need a long shot and a prop.
I need a long shot. My long shot is hole in one on Sunday.
Ace.
On 16.
On 16 on Sunday?
Yeah, hole in one 16 on Sunday. It's got to be on Sunday, and it's got to be 16.
I like that's
I'm making it hard for myself, but like I want to see that.
That's more of a prop bet.
Oh, that is my prop bet. Sorry, I wrote long shot instead of prop bet.
Good night. I can't work with you anymore.
My long shot is that somebody playing in the Saudi International wins the Waste Management Open.
Long shot, Saudi.
No.
How do I write that?
No. My long shot.
Uh-huh.
Ricky top 20.
Ricky T20. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Where has
I'm
he gone?
so off Ricky Fowler.
It's not that I'm off him.
I'm off him completely.
Like, I'm off him in terms of picks. I want to see what he does with his life.
Yeah.
I want the memoir. I know he's like 24.
Grow, Ricky. He's 31.
I know. But
I think.
Would you read my memoir?
Yes. His birthday is the same as my wife's.
Tell me you read my memoir. I asked you if you would actually read my memoir.
Oh, no.
I was born in a small village. On the English coast of St. Ives.
St. Ives.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
This is a limerick. Your entire memoir is a limerick. All right, I have Jordan Spieth top 15 this week as my long shot.
Why don't we just do Ricky versus Jordan for our long shot? Well, let's make that just an extra bet. Ricky versus Jordan.
Okay, extra bet.
Extra
points
bet.
Or no?
50 points.
50 points. Okay. All right. And my prop bet is Doc Redman. You're going to like this. This is a real prop bet.
This isn't even a podcast anymore. This is just us having fun talking about golf. We relinquish the rest of
it. That's right. All right. Doc Redman. You're going to like this because it matches your prop bet. Bet. Yeah. Ace on 16 on Sunday. I have Doc Redman. I'm making it hard on myself. Doc Redman beats Matthew Wolff.
Okay.
Doc Redman beats Matthew Wolff.
Because I like Matthew Wolff. I like this week. I don't love, but I like this week.
Right. And nobody likes Doc Redman like I like Doc Redman.
No.
So.
I want to see like how the stadium course like for me. This is always like a precursor to the players. This is always like a precursor to to me, this is the 6th biggest tournament.
Right.
This is the one where everybody yells. This is the one where you either love the spotlight or you shy away from it.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you do the dance from South Korea. By Psy.
Yeah.
Sexy. That guy. Gundam style.
Gangnam style.
Gundam's a cartoon. I am terrible at this. Okay.
It sure is.
Gangnam style. Yeah. So who was that?
What?
Who did Gangnam Style on the green in 2017?
Something. It's Psy.
No. It was he birdied and he did.
Oh yeah.
I forget. It's John.
Was it John Rahm?
I think it was Han. What's Han's first name?
James Hahn.
James Hahn. It was James Hahn.
Spieth beats Ricky.
Why do I have that in my brain? I'd
don't
like
know.
to see another like sentimental moment like Gary Player had last year.
Right.
That was really adorable. If you haven't seen that, go on YouTube and watch that. He plays golf with a young lady who has Down syndrome,
Yes.
and she birdies out. She doesn't birdie out, but she basically she hits it to she plays the par 3 with Gary Woodland. She plays 16 and she beats him, and she's just like, I thought you were better than that. So they've like become really good friends. It's an adorable story. I hope I didn't ruin it for you, but that's sort of the basis of it. Are you ready to head to Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
There he is.
I'm here. I am here.
What is up, Clarence?
Oh no, not Clarence today, mate. He's having a long rest.
Hey man, Mr. 2,000 points over here.
Oh,
Picking a
absolutely
winner in his
crushed it.
first event. What are we doing?
Well, I have to admit, it was nice going back to work on Monday and reminding you of all the comments of, oh, he's never going to win it. Okay, listen, just let me make my picks.
No, that's a strong move. That's a strong move. Pick the overall favorites and then ride that pony to the finish line.
Dance with the ones who
I
brought
didn't
you,
pick
Mug
the
Dad.
overall favorite.
I thought Paul Casey was the overall favorite.
No, Colin
1,000
Maricolo was overall favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, then pick the overall favorite and then have one of your other two picks win it instead of him. Good on you.
I didn't.
Good job.
I didn't pick Colin.
He didn't pick Colin Morikawa.
Who'd you pick?
I had. Oh God, Paul Casey.
Sergio and Justin Rose.
Yes, you laughed at all of them. That's all I will say.
You know what? Hold on. I think we need a short break. Look, Mug Dad, you mean a lot to me. This is a very sentimental moment. You've done a great job picking your first few wins, and I just want to let you know that not only was I loud wrong, and not only an embarrassment to myself and this podcast, but I only hope that you can accept my apology as a human being, a man, and a golfer, and maybe a friend, and we can move on from this disastrous episode.
Has it been a bit like that? Has it?
It's been a bit like that. So yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
so we're traveling from Abu Dhabi to Saudi Arabia.
Yes,
Yep.
we are.
Another place where the bunkers are plentiful and the fairways are watered.
If you say
You
so,
think?
if that's how you want to put it.
I don't know how else you say. I mean, like, I think you put it best last week, which is like most places put in bunkers. These guys put in fairways.
Yeah, well, I think Saudi's a lot more greener than Dubai, but there we go.
Yeah, the Saudi is about 4 million purse,
Mhm.
and
It's 3 million euros, so yeah, $4
yeah, I was
million.
gonna say the TPC Scottsdale is 6.7 or 7.6. It is.
Okay, well that's a massive.
Sorry,
That's nearly double the price.
I think what happens is, and Gunnar, I think you were just about to say this. What were you gonna say? Oh, I was like,
What was I gonna say?
there's a lot of like pay for play. Like there's like these guys are probably getting 6 figures just for showing up.
No,
Yeah.
they need. Oh, I was saying they need to be at their own course. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think what's happened here is and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the European Tour did away with the amount of tournaments you have to play in to qualify for the race to Dubai. Correct. So everybody's trying to. They saw what. Who almost won it last year?
Patrick Reed almost won it.
It was Patrick Reed almost won the
Yeah.
race to Dubai last year, and they were like, "Oh my God, we could play 2
Lee
events and win the
Westwood
race to
won it.
Dubai."
Yeah.
Right, but he, I think they did away with having to play like 7 events or something. You
Okay.
only have to play 1 to be in the race.
Oh wow. Okay. What do you think of
And
that?
everyone's
That might be
decided-
what's going on.
Looking at the top 50 list, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like the list. I mean, obviously Dustin Johnson's gone over. You've got Bryson. Like Tony Finau. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Patrick Reed's
Like,
there.
why? Yeah, you've got all the English boys as usual. You know, they're all scared of the American sun and whatever, so they never seem to go over.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the list is crazy. Again, it's even like the list this week is better than last week.
Yeah.
And last week I was in shock at how good the list was.
I don't know, and this might just be like me, but I imagine the perks of being like a PGA Tour player in a place with that much money trying to get golf off the ground must be absolutely insane. Like to go to Abu Dhabi and be treated like a professional golfer is like that's like the pinnacle for me. I don't want to go to Dubai and not be treated and be treated like Ben. I want to go to Dubai and be treated like Bryson DeChambeau.
Do you think the PGA Tour players got some sort of kickback for going over there, and that's why so many of the top players got there without having to play?
I think it's probably like a sponsorship deal, sort of. That their pockets are getting a bit of change in them through sponsors going, look, we've got a massive company out there, golf's massive, please go and show your face. Here's 500 grand.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense with like, it makes sense that like TaylorMade would be putting themselves like for sale and sending those guys over to those kinds of places. To show
free marketing.
Yeah, I was gonna say to show these like oil-rich countries that like golf it's a huge boost for Adidas, however you want to say it, and for Nike to basically be out of the golf game. Like it's a home run. So why not go? I'm sure these guys are like getting cash incentives to go. Like I know whenever Tiger Woods goes to the Middle East, he usually makes more money from the tournament and from like the tourism board than he does like then the winner of the tournament gets.
Right.
Yeah, which is where it's gotten a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to play golf to win to make money.
Yeah.
You sort of turn up and they're like, "Come on, mate."
Well, it's not like a signing fee. It's not like an arrival fee. It's a something fee. It's like
It's like a bonus for getting on an aeroplane.
Yeah. And it's pretty awesome. I mean, like I said, like I wouldn't mind being in Saudi Arabia, like when the European tour is there and it's all the world's best golfers, and it's just going to be like, I'm sure it's bringing in a bunch of tourism regardless. And I'm sure in a normal year it would as well. But everybody's there. I've got guys like DJ Bryson, Terrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood, Finau, Casey, Patrick Reed. Everybody's there.
They're all there, mate. Literally everyone is there.
Yes.
Apart from Colin Morikawa, because he turned up last week and went, "No, I don't like this."
Well, I was going to say Rory McIlroy did the same thing. Like,
we don't worry about Rory.
No, but I'm saying like Rory McIlroy was like 2 weeks ago he was in the Middle East. No, 2 weeks ago he was in the States. Last week he was in the Middle East, and this week he's back in the States.
Yeah, I don't understand where his head's at.
So
I mean, he's a lot richer than I am, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, I'm sure his private airplane has like a private master bedroom. Didn't he just have a kid? It
just is one bedroom.
Shouldn't be home with his kid?
Nah, there's plenty of time for that.
Okay.
All right. Well, with the stacked field, who are you going to pick from all these? Do we have all Americans? Did you even pick an American?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, there's the juice.
I don't. No. I've kind of got. It's sort of a long shot that's American based, but sort of not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see who you've got for the Saudi International Championship of something and the other thing.
Okay, Martin Kaymer.
So that's a good pick. I'd like to see him. He sort of to me is like in the same vein as like Henrik Stenson, the Iceman.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was. I'm not going to lie. They were both sort of floating around the options.
Yeah.
but I've gone for Martin Keimer. I've gone for, there he is, Rasmus Højgaard.
Ooh, I like Rasmus Højgaard. Yeah, he is from Scandinavia.
It's from Denmark, yeah.
Yes, Denmark. Yeah. That was close. Scandinavia.
I mean,
Denmark
it
is.
is
He's from a country that William Shakespeare wrote about once.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. So did many other people, but there we go.
It is a real place, Ben.
I know. I believe you.
And then, so my last pick is,
Kevin
I
Na.
want to go, no. Christian B. I'm not going to try and pronounce the rest of his name because it sounds like the noise I make when I sneeze. But
Christian
I'm
B?
not even gonna, yeah, Bezun, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That one.
Beziduinhout.
I thought it was
Yes.
Bezuidenhout.
That's what we just said.
Yeah.
We just said Bezidenhout.
Bezuidenhout.
That's what I said, Bezidenhout.
That's what we know who that guy is.
why?
Yes.
Do you see why?
He's a three-time winner on the European Tour. Do you have a long shot?
But it's not really a long shot.
Is it Phil Mickelson?
However, I don't think Tony Finau's going to make the cut.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
Tony
yeah.
Finau, Mrs. Cut.
I disagree with you. I disagree. I might be loud wrong
Yeah, but
again.
look what happened last week.
I know. So this is my first time really going through it. I like Fleetwood on the European Tour. I really like Fleetwood on the European Tour. You've got Pablo Larrazabal.
Laura Thobel.
That's what I said.
Sure.
I'm a phonetic reader.
I would stop that.
Say their initials and give up.
Lee Westwood. See, it's everybody. Kevin Nay.
Amazing. That's close enough.
Well, Kevin not won 2 weeks ago. I like Rasmus Højgaard, Henrik Stenson. The thing is, I'm surprised at the Americans who are on the list, and then who are on the list. Like John Catlin.
I was just surprised to have a quick look at the tee times and sort of go through who's playing and just be like, this isn't normal. This is 2 weeks in a row where the field has been significantly stronger than what it usually is.
Yeah.
And it's not something that you expect to see in a European tour, obviously.
No. And to be fair, I'm quite surprised at the age of a lot of these players.
Yeah, because it's not. You've got some of the old guard, the old generation.
Well, you've got.
Not,
I was going to say, I know that Westwood did really good last year, but Westwood is still in his 40s. Justin Rose isn't young. Phil Mickelson isn't young. David Howell, not young. I'm surprised. Martin Keimer's not he would be on a downward trajectory. You would still claim. Same with Danny Willett.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. It seems to and this is going to sound really weird, but it almost seems like it's sort of it's like the MLS of golf.
Yeah. No.
Let's get out there and make that few extra million before we officially retire to the Champions Tour.
We need to try and encourage players to play on the European Tour. So now they're doing it, just leave them alone.
Fine. Victor Dubuisson is playing?
Rubbish players. Yes.
Okay, he's
Cool.
only 30. He looks way older than that.
Hey, you leave V-Dubs alone. He's dope.
I thought he's younger than me. I thought he was way older than me.
No, that's because he goes out in the
Oh yeah,
sun more.
he's not exactly way younger than you.
He's 3 years younger than me.
Oh no.
All right. This is getting out. This is getting absolutely out of hand. So your picks
It
are
is.
Martin Keimer, Rasmus
Yes.
Hosgaard, and
Yes.
Christian Benenhout.
If that's how you
Bezuidenhout.
say it, yeah.
Bedouin Wahout.
Bezuidenhout.
Bezenenwheat.
Shredded wheat.
Bushel of wheat.
I'll get it right eventually. Look, I'm trying, okay? At least I'm trying. How do you say
You're
it?
working on it. Bezuidenhout.
Bezuidenwheat.
Close.
It's-
And then I've gone for Tony Finau to not make the cut.
That's
Who
it.
do you got? Who do you got? Phil or Ernie? Who's winning that matchup?
So,
Martin
Phil.
Keimer or Henrik Stenson? Who's winning that matchup?
Henrik
well, I've
Stenson.
got to say Martin because of
Aw.
my pick.
Patrick Reed versus the television cameras. Who's winning that one?
Patrick Reed.
Oh, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Take my picks, and I will take my lead.
All right. Thank you
Enjoy
so
the
much
rest
for
of your
being on the
evening.
show, Mug Dad, aka Pimento.
Thanks, Mug Dad.
See you later.
We'll see you later. Have a good one. That was Mug Dad making his European tour picks. He's officially our European tour co-conspirator.
Yes. Co-conspirator for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening to the show. Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts. Don't forget to leave us a review. That really helps us out with everybody coming and checking out the show. If you want to, check us out on YouTube. We're doing YouTube Live, Twitch. Don't forget Instagram and Twitter and the Facebook, the social
Yes.
networking Facebook app thing.
Go check us out on all of those.
So thank you so much for listening this week to the Swingdom.
Swing them out.
Swing them out.
Apropos.
You've been listening to The Swingdom. Remember, we're just two guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given.
I took the lenses out of these glasses. Can you tell?
Yes. I saw you playing with the lenses.
I just wanted to look smarter.